We got to get the YouTube broadcast going.
Yep. Okay, there it goes. I'll hand it over to you now.
Okay, now we're gonna call the Parks and Recreation Committee of White Lake Township to order on August 12th at 7:01. And Justin, will you help me out with the roll call?
Yeah, well, first we'll do roll call. Let me get it up here. Andrea Voorhees.
Present.
Rhonda Grubb. She's muted.
Here.
DJ Bratta.
Present.
Kathleen Asseltine.
Here.
Mary Carlock.
Here.
Deb Darren.
Here.
All present.
Okay, now we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance. We have a virtual flag. There it is. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the United
United
States
States of America,
The Republic.
and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation.
one nation, under God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there's some time delay on those things. So we have an agenda tonight, which basically is a review of some of the proposals for Stanley Park. Is there any changes or corrections to the agenda from anyone? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
And a second?
I'll support.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. The next item is approval minutes from July 8th, 2020. Is there any corrections or changes to those minutes?
I have a correction. I don't know if this is something that you mentioned for a correction, but I think Steve Woodward, I think his last name's Woodard, not Woodward. I might be mistaken.
We'll double check that and make sure we get it right. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, with that correction, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
And a second?
I'll
Support.
support.
I don't know who it was.
I think it was Kathleen.
Kathleen,
It
okay.
doesn't matter.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're probably, we have a call to the public. I don't know if there's any public wishing to speak.
Nobody on the line as of right now.
There's no one there, okay. As no public is available, we'll go on to new business, which is the Stanley Park RFQs. I think we got 5 proposals come in, and they just came in Monday, right, Justin?
Yep. So they came in Monday. I apologize that you didn't get, more than 40.
I saw them all. I didn't have time to read them.
Yeah. So I know you only got 48 hours, and I apologize. We're trying to move quickly, and we're under a little bit of a time crunch, but we want to get rolling as fast as possible. We did.
I had a chance to review some of them, like skim through them. So
Yeah, I skimmed through them all.
So I'll let you guys kind of, handle this review how you want. We advertised the RFQ for 4 weeks. We received 5 responses, so we sent all 5. I don't know if you want to go through each one individually or if you had any questions or comments, and we can just have a discussion. The goal for tonight would be to select which firms you want to interview and how you want the interview format to work in terms of timing and the number of firms that you want to interview. So my preference would be to narrow it down to 3 of the 5.
that's what, I was thinking as well.
Good. If there was a 4th one that you wanted to do, then, we could try to do that. We want to get these done in one night, so we can have a special meeting on August 26th, which is 2 weeks from today. If that works for everyone, and that seemed to be the consensus when I asked everyone for their availability. We can start at 6 p.m. to get rolling a little bit earlier. And
Okay.
we can definitely do 3 firms in one night. If you want to do 4, we can make it work, but it's really up to you. We'll do this however the committee feels is best. We can do time slots, which was my thought, and we can talk about how long you want to allow each firm to speak. I don't know, or 40 or 45 minutes. I'm thinking they might, if we give them 40 or 45 minutes, they might have a 20-minute or 30-minute presentation, and then that leaves some time for questions from the committee. So it's really up to you how you guys want to go through this. But I think we have some very qualified firms who are more than capable of doing the work. And I think we're going to be in good hands no matter what direction we go in. It's just now let's start narrowing them down, and we'll go with one.
I'm just gonna say up front that like Beckett Rader and Johnson Hill have both been consultants for us in the past. So I thought they did good work for us. So I want to get those two in the interview for sure. And then, I would like a couple more days to go through the other 3. As I say, I'm babysitting dawn to dusk every day. So but I could look at them this weekend and have something Monday for that last one. CJ, you said that you spent more time with them.
Yeah, I just did, I briefed through them and looked at the different companies. I was impressed with a few of them. I know, took some notes on it if you want me to go through that now, or if you want me to save that for later. Based on the previous designs that they did at different, like Indian Springs Metro Park was one of them. I'm a fan of the Environmental Discovery Building. I didn't realize that MKSK did that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
When it appeared in there, like I always like that one, that park, because I just felt it blends in with the landscape well, the building kind of
really artistic as well, the way the walks go and everything.
It kind of seems like a modern just natural landscape, and I think that's probably something that we're going for, something more natural. And I just thought that was interesting that was one of the bidders. And I looked at McKenna as well, and I felt like they had a good idea on a time frame to get the grants done in a certain time frame for the April 2021, as well as I just thought that they spoke more about the grant funding of doing private and public grants, not just going after the Michigan Department of Natural Resources grant and Park and Recreation Passport grant. So I just thought that one stuck out as well. So
which one was that one? It was at McKenna?
That was McKenna, yeah.
If I can jump in, just food for thought. Mary mentioned that a couple of the firms have done work with the township in the past. McKenna has also done a lot of work in the township. They are our planning consultants, so they help us get through our current projects, our development projects. And then Giffords Webster helped us do the grant for Stanley Park to acquire the property. They helped us do our clear zoning ordinance. So we went through them to get the clear zoning ordinance. They helped us in 2011 with the current master plan. So 4 of the 5 firms that have submitted have done work in the township before. And
maybe not directly Parks work. Wonder about the ones that have the strongest public participation posting, and how we, it might be a little bit different this year.
Right.
Try to not maybe have a public workshop like we've done in the past, but different ways to almost Survey Monkey or whatever to
engage with the public.
Yeah. That's going to be a big portion of this master plan process is public engagement. And we're going to try, if we can kick off in the fall, hopefully we can do all of that in person, but who knows where we're going to be at with COVID. We're going to have to play it by ear. And you all know that there are minimum public engagement requirements for trust fund grants. So there may be some type of modifications to those requirements based on the current, climate with COVID. So we're going to have to monitor that and make sure that we meet those.
So that's a different part of the public engagement portion. That's just at the, for the application. but I'm more interested in the design concepts and getting the public engaged with that.
I know that
Even
McKenna
for
in
the
their
grant
presentation,
part.
they mentioned that they were willing and able to do an online portion in their presentation. So,
I'm sorry, I was talking too much. What?
oh,
what-
I said I know that in the McKenna presentation, they mentioned that they would be willing and able to do an online format for public engagement if they needed to.
Uh-huh, I mean,
So,
that.
but I'm sure the other
Our
companies would
numbers
as
in
well.
the township almost every other day, and unfortunately, like during the peak, it was like 5 cases in ours, at least my zip code, for like March and April. We were doing great. Now we're like up to 40 or something just in our zip code, maybe 80 in the township. So our numbers are going up, not down. So it's concerning.
Probably because of all of our good retail we have around here.
Yeah,
So,
visitors.
If I might take a turn here,
Yes,
I
please.
actually
Go ahead.
had some time and I went through every proposal and did the
Wow.
pros and cons. I'll just summarize for you for now, unless you'd like some more input. My number one choice was McKenna because of our past experience with them. I thought their presentation was very concise in terms of grant application experience, working with the Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund. I liked their timeline goals that included, the whole COVID thing. I like their team advantages, their interdisciplinary approach. And also they recommended that there are other grants out there besides state grants, private grants and foundations, which I hadn't read in any of the other ones. They've had a lot of work under related projects. They mentioned, public engagement, which is extremely important, as we said, environmental waterfront planning. And I really read all the bios quite carefully, and I was quite impressed with their roster. They have like a deep bench, if you want to use hockey terms. Most of their employees had master's degrees. I really liked Lori H.A.W. Haas. She has worked with the MDNR. She has a master's degree from U of M and Michigan State. And then what got my attention in particular was Julie Kanochi. She specializes in public engagement, and which we said is very important. So they got my number one vote. My number two vote was Giffords Webster. Again, I thought they had a very deep bench. They emphasized recreation, which is one of our really important things. They've worked on local projects. And again, in the bios, I read about Britta Gregorski. She's actually an artist, and she pays attention to things like visuals, sense of place, or making place, which I thought was very important. I thought that their proposal was very comprehensive. So they got my number one and number two vote. My number three, and I was Johnson Hill. My number four was Beckett Rader, and number five was MKSK. I just felt their proposals were not very in depth. Many of their employees only had bachelor's degrees, not to say that, having a degree is everything. I just felt their bench wasn't very deep. There wasn't a lot of people on staff, and I didn't feel their proposal, even though there were some strong suits. And I think CJ, you mentioned that one of them did the
Indian Springs.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, to me, that was like great, but it's only one piece of a much larger project. And I just didn't feel there was the comprehensive and the expansiveness of those that would be working on the project. So,
Well, the thing that concerned me, Kathleen, about MKSK was that they're located in Ohio.
yeah,
So I was, looking more for a local company, especially with this time.
absolutely.
That was just my
another-
opinion.
I agree with you on that. Not because I'm a U of M fan, but
No, I just thought, maybe something local would be better, especially
Yes.
with people
yes,
trying to get everything done in a shortened time frame here and with COVID. But I did want to at least throw out there, I did like their design at Indian Springs, but that was pretty much, like you said, the only thing that I thought that was really going for them on their proposal that I read. So.
And they, just to chime in, their main office is in Ohio, but they do have a Detroit office, where they would be performing the work out of.
Thank you, Justin, for
How about
clarifying.
you, Rhonda, do you have a chance to look at stuff?
I did. Will you bring me those earbuds? Um, earbuds, that's what I'm missing. I did. I like the Giffel Webster. I think mostly because they helped us with the grant for the land acquisition and they're very familiar with it. I'm always a fan of McKenna because we work so closely with them for all kinds of things. I didn't read everything quite in detail as Kathleen did, but I did have the opportunity to skim over all 5 of them. And those are the 2 that I were in favor of.
How about you, Andrea?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I absolutely didn't have the opportunity either. I'm time glancing through them as we speak. I like even though I'm not the most, I like the education part of it myself. I like the deep bench, so I'm gonna go along with Kathy's suggestions of McKenna and Giffords Webster, if I remember correctly. I'm sitting here taking notes, but yeah, I know I like those thoughts with the deeper bench, so we can go further in, and obviously they're both local, so I'm gonna go along with her.
My thing with Giffords Webster, I also thought was important to mention was like how they've already helped us get the trust fund grant, so they might already have obviously more knowledge of the park to begin with to kind of hit the ground running faster is one of the notes I thought of on them. But that was pretty much, the only thing I could see that would be an advantage to them over any other company is that they've already got experience with the property. They've been there, they've seen it, and they can kind of, hit it a little bit faster. Not saying that McKenna or any other company can't get it as quickly, but that's just an advantage that I saw with Giffords as well.
Okay, Deb, you get to wrap it up for us here.
Yeah, I did get to go through them all, and I'm agreeing with McKenna and the Gifford Webster because of those. They're pointing out that they did do the grant work, and that's what we liked. That's what we need help with. That I think to get
Okay.
money.
I just to
Justin.
just to chime in, I went through them. Obviously, I'm not, this is just my preference. I'm not offended. These are out of the 5, my top 3 that I would, choose in no particular order would be Giffords Webster, McKenna, and Johnson Hill. But I wouldn't, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I actually would rather just go with Beckett Raider 2 based on Bloomer Park. So I'm pushing for 4. And then I'm going to turn to Justin to perhaps come up with a rating system that maybe we can, you could give us a scoring sheet to do at home, homework, and then some scoring stuff to have ready in some questions and scoring, in 2 weeks.
So it sounds like it sounds like we've all identified we want to go with 3, and is everyone on board with adding a 4th? Because we want to do all these interviews on one night. So if you're all okay with one long night, we'll do. That's it. I'm fine with doing 4. Sean and I talked about it, but 3 would be preferable, but we can do 4. So.
How long will each presentation take approximately?
And that's up to you guys to decide. We can dictate or give the firms, my thought was a time slot. So we could give them a 40 or 45 minute time slot and they could use it how they choose. So they might have a 20 to 30 minute presentation and then maybe 15 or 20 minutes for, questions and answers from the committee. And like Mary said, we can draft you guys a score sheet or some questions that you could ask during that time. And then if anything else comes up that you don't see on the sheet, you could of course ask it. So we could definitely do that for you and have that ready for that meeting. It's honestly up to you what firms, 3 or 4, we can do 4. My thought was 3, just, maybe gave us a little bit more time with each of the 3, because if we do 4, we're going to be, we might not have as much time with each of the firms.
Is there any chance to start earlier in the evening? I mean, we're already starting at 6, I know, but.
Yeah, we can start at 6.
Working from home, I'm pretty flexible, but I don't know.
I can do anytime after 5:30, 5:45 ish. If
Anybody
That's-
else start at 5:30?
I'm open. I'm retired.
as
I
long as
might
I can
be-
eat my dinner, then I'm fine. So
Yeah.
Rhonda? you
We
have-
would probably need to log on at 5 to make sure everything's working well, right? And
Well,
that
Yep.
might be pushing it for me. I'm good with 5:30, but 5 might be a push.
maybe we
Yeah.
log on at 5:30 and then start at 5:45 or something like that.
Well,
I know you have a million kids to worry about.
and
well, I think we all can agree that we want for sure McKenna and Giffords for 2 for sure, as it seemed like everyone was on board with those 2
Yeah.
for sure.
right,
Yeah,
Beckett Raider and Johnson Hill. So those are my, because of my experience with them.
Right.
Do
So
we
that's
want to
why
give,
I'm leaning towards 4.
do we want to give any of the, I mean, we all agree on Giffords, Webster, and McKenna. Do we want to give those that haven't had much time to weigh in on the 3rd and 4th? I don't know how anybody feel like they haven't had enough time to really weigh in.
Can I jump in real quick? I know I apologize at 48 hours. I know that was really limited.
Yes.
We're looking to have a decision tonight of which 3 firms we want to.
Or 4, you said we could do 4, Justin.
Yep. 4, because we need to let them know, tomorrow or Friday, hey,
Yeah.
you're scheduled at this time. They have to have time to put their presentations together.
Sure.
So, we were looking for a
Four,
decision.
then I'm happy with that.
We can certainly do 4.
I'm good with the first 3, but I will, compromise with Mary if she wants the 4th. I didn't find them very attractive, but I'm new to this.
I don't have the same positive feelings about Giffords. I deal with a lot of plans, so
Okay.
they're not my number one. And McKenna also has got a lot of planning, but sometimes they're not that knowledgeable when it comes to the application. And I'm saying that as a person who reads their applications.
And I concede to that, your knowledge.
And that's why you're an asset to this group.
Well,
totally.
Yeah,
And I know that we won awards with the Bloomer Park design from the other company from Beckett. So
see, there's planning, and then there's, actually design and, building things. So we're kind of moving, we're starting in the planning phase here and with the application, and now we're moving to, a built environment, a physical thing when we're
I mean,
done.
if Mary wants to do 4, I'm open to doing 4 if we start the meeting
I know
sooner.
it just pushes the decision down the street, but
Well, as long as we get them all in one night and everyone seems to be okay with, if we have to change the day and it might have to be like the 28th or something for everyone to have more time or whatever that they need, I'm open as long as we were able to get it all done in one night and we can get all of our questions answered and make the best decision for a township. I'm in favor of doing the 4.
so Justin, this is off topic, but you had talked about going into the annex building and spreading out, but now we're leaning more towards this kind of meeting for those presentations.
I was told that we would be doing this on Zoom.
Okay,
I know it's not ideal for this type of presentation and interview, but we're going to have to do our best to work in a virtual format.
yep.
Whatever we can do to keep everything moving along,
And just
Absolutely.
the goal
We'll have
is
to
to get your recommendation, the committee's recommendation to the township board for their September meeting. And then hopefully the township board would give us approval to move forward at that meeting on the 15th. We can get a consultant going then, right to start the fall, because we anticipate, it's probably going to take 5 or 6 months to get this master plan done. And we want to have enough time to meet the state grant deadline, which is, April 1st next
Mhm.
spring. So we want to get this rolling as soon as possible.
What's the deadline? I know the meeting is September 15th. What's your agenda deadline?
So that's why we had selected the week, the 26th, because the township board the township board meeting is the 15th. And our deadline for their packet is, I think, that Thursday or Friday, like the 3rd or 4th of September.
With
So,
Labor Day in there also.
so we have to get, if the 26th is not a date, we can push it to maybe Wednesday, the 2nd. I think we're gonna need to start, and this is up to you guys. So I think we need to start at 6. But if we want to do 4 firms and break it down over 2 nights, that's something you can do. We can do 2 in one night and 2 in another. Maybe we could do, and this is up to you, we could do like 2 on September 1st, 2 on September 2nd. Or we can try to do all 4 in one night. If we start at 6, it might go till 10 o'clock, and that's perfectly fine with us. Whatever you prefer.
What would you guys like to see from the township side as far as, would you rather have everything come in one day and be able to do it all in one day, or what would make it easier for you, Justin?
Our preference would be to do it all in one day. And, I know it would be a long meeting. Sean and I had talked about this. Even if you want to do 4, our preference would be to do it in one day. So we're probably going to have to start at 6 and just anticipate it's going to probably be a 4-hour meeting. Maybe we can schedule an intermission for 10 minutes so everyone can kind of get up and stretch and get a drink or whatever. But that's what we were thinking. Let's do our best to try to do it in one night.
I think it's really important to have a scoring sheet or criteria so that we come up with a numerical value and you guys can kind of average them.
Yes.
Quickly.
Now, how will this work, Justin? Will we be making a decision that evening, or would we be voting and then individually submitting results to you and then coming together as a board after that and selecting, or are we just going to hear all the presentations that evening?
So that's also up to you guys. So that night we're going to receive the presentations, and at that time the firms will give us a sealed bid for the cost, because that's also going to play into your decision. So
Correct.
we'll receive their presentations, we'll get their bids. After everything, we can open up the bids and say, okay, firm A, this is their price, firm B, and then we can either make a decision that night. I know it would be late, or we could, if we do it the 26th, these presentations, we can say, all right, why don't you think about it for a few days, privately, and then you can email me, separately. So, your votes can be private, of who you want to select.
Or would we be able to do do the presentations one evening, and then the following week, like in September, maybe, I think you mentioned the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, maybe if we did just a short Zoom meeting or something like that, where we could all just get together and discuss it, what we thought, and do a vote, even if if people don't mind doing it publicly, who they're selecting, after we get to review everything, maybe get to see all the bids and do our pros and cons, to come together and, collectively discuss it and make a decision that evening. So that way the township can move forward mid-September with their board meeting.
Justin, can you, maybe look back on not because it was Beckett Raider, but just look at how we did it for Bloomer Park. I remember it, but I don't exactly remember.
Yeah, I can ask Sean if he has any recollection. We can look back.
There should be some files on the scoring and that kind of thing, which would be very similar.
Yeah, we can get you a score sheet. We can either make one, or if I can find one for what we did before, we can use that as a template. But I think the format of, the time and when you want to make a decision, we can decide that, tonight. If we want to do 2 nights, that's like CJ had suggested. We can certainly do that too, where we can do the presentations on the 26th, and then the following Wednesday we could have another short meeting. That would give everyone a week to digest their thoughts, review the score sheets, review the sealed bids that came in for the cost of the work, and then we could come together.
I kind of like that one.
I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I don't want to make a decision on, picking someone just in one night after hearing their presentation. I'd rather at least kind of do a little bit of research myself and pros and cons,
I think that seeing 4 in one night is, for myself, it's going to be a little overwhelming. And I think Mary's idea with the score sheet will help me keep track and not after the fact say, no, let's see, who said this, who said that?
Yeah.
We're going to be packing a lot of information in a very short amount of time. So I think that's key. And I also like CJ's idea that, sometimes you need to sleep on things. And I think that I would be for the 2 dates.
Yep, I agree.
For what it's worth, I just assume have it all 4 done on the same evening on the 26th. I appreciate digesting the information as I will need to anyway. But I am unavailable on the 2nd. Would I be able to submit it, my thoughts via email?
Is there another
For the
day,
meeting?
Justin,
Yeah,
that we
maybe
could
can
do?
Find another day.
Would September 1st, that Tuesday, work for everybody?
Yeah,
I work at a food pantry on the open door that day, so I'm not sure what time I'd be available.
Okay.
It's a volunteer. I could just say, hey, I'm leaving.
and it's should be a short meeting, right?
I mean, we could do it at 7 o'clock, so everyone should hopefully, maybe
Yeah.
have their dinner.
Works. Yep.
It would probably,
Hopefully we'll have some gut feelings, going in, but
I mean, that meeting would probably only be at the most a 30-minute meeting.
Just
Um,
to select, yeah.
just to select and make a vote, So we could do that if that worked for everyone. Plan to do 4 presentations on
Yep.
Wednesday, August 26th. We'll start at 6 o'clock and then we'll get the sealed bids. After the presentations, we'll open up all the bids. So the committee has the numbers. You'll have the presentations, you'll have the RFQs, then you'll have 6 days to digest it all. We'll come back together on September 1st at another special meeting. It'll be 7 o'clock. And that meeting will just be to cast the vote of who your preferred consultant is. And that will be your recommendation to the township board.
sounds like a plan.
So that sounds good to me. Now we just have to decide on the 26th, how long you want to give each firm to, how much time each firm should have.
I've
Yeah.
never participated in something like this. Is 40 minutes reasonable?
Yeah, our thought here was 40 or 45 minutes, because that would give them, and they could use that time how they wanted. They could either maybe do a 20 or 30-minute presentation, and then there would either be, 20 or 15 minutes left for, Q&A from the committee. So
We might want to say that they have to have a minimum of 10 minutes for Q&A because
Yep, I like that.
That's what I was going to suggest.
We won't have any time to ask the same questions to everybody.
So I'm thinking maybe 45 minutes would be, I think that would be plenty of time.
Including the 10 minutes for Q&A.
And we could say,
Okay.
or we could even say you get a 30-minute presentation and we want 15 minutes for Q&A.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of a
Based on
30-minute
over.
presentation and going, like you said, just make sure that we can at least ask questions of them and have that time.
All right.
Will there be public input that night? Is the public invited to these presentations?
It will be a public meeting. The only opportunity for public comment, though, is at the beginning or end of the meeting. So there won't be public comment, after or during each of the 4 presentations.
That could really stretch things out.
I don't know how much, the public will, at this point be involved. I've talked to a couple of the HOAs around Brendel Lake, and they are going to be very actively involved once we select a consultant and want to have public input while we do the master plan. So I don't anticipate that they would come out during the consultant selection process, but I do have a feeling that once we have a consultant, that's when the public is really going to come out and that input and engagement will start.
And the other ones that we've done for several different consultants, no one has ever showed up, but you never know. It's easier to show up now on your computer.
Yeah.
You don't have to get in your car.
Mhm.
All right, you don't need any, looks like we have some kind of consensus here. So we just, you don't need any kind of motion or anything for that.
I just have a question for Justin after.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, just regarding the sheet, like a scoring sheet, are we going to be getting that obviously prior to the meeting so that way we can,
Yes.
have it all prepared?
I will get that to you let's see, we're meeting on the 26th. I'll try to have one drafted in the next couple of days here.
Okay.
Just to get it to you sooner rather than later so you can look at it. And if you want any additions or changes, I can make those before the meeting. So I'll try to have that to you by the end of the week. I'll work on
Okay.
that in the next couple of days.
And you said we did not need to vote on this?
No, I think I think I gathered your consensus, the four firms, Johnson Hill, Beckett and Rader, McKenna, Giffords Webster. We'll do 4 presentations on Wednesday, August 26th, starting at 6 o'clock. Each of the 4 firms will get a time slot of 45 minutes, 30 minutes for a presentation, 15 minutes for Q&A from the committee. And then on Tuesday, September 1st at 7, we'll do a short special meeting for you guys to cast your vote for the preferred consultant. So I think if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think I get the direction. I don't think we need any formal motion or action.
Okay, great. I thought all the proposals were very, nice, and that it was great to get 5 proposals, so that was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're very lucky. They're all qualified. They all put together a nice package for us, and I think we're going to be in good hands no matter what direction we end up going in.
Those are all good firms. Okay, we're just going to turn it back over to you for other business. Justin, how are you liking it so far at the township?
So far, so good. They haven't run me out yet. No, I'm just kidding. We've been busy, since we've been back. Construction hasn't slowed down. Projects are still rolling through. So we're definitely busy. I did want to update you guys on the tree trimming at Stanley Park. That is almost done. There will be a pause in the oak pruning. Our contractor has concerns that the oak wilt season is prolonged just based on other projects that he's been working on. So he doesn't want to go in the park and continue with that until he's sure that the oak wilt, season is over. So while that's, an unexpected delay, it's better to be safe than sorry. So he's probably going to pick up that work, back in September to finish the oak pruning. But that's still moving ahead. You may have heard me mention before we started the meeting, actually, the Township Board and the Civic Center District Committee will have a joint meeting on August 25th to discuss what the committee has worked on in terms of the new plans for the Civic Center for the Township, headquarters and the police and fire building. And that property is going to be, it's adjacent to Stanley Park. So there's going to be a synergy between the two. There's going to be some type of connection at some point in the future. So we're going to, obviously keep the committee apprised of what is going on there. So that's coming up later this month. Down at Holly Park, the soccer goals were de-rusted and repainted, and so they look much better. The nets are up. St. Pat's has practices scheduled. They started this week. Their season is going to run through October. So the soccer fields will be in use for the next few months. And that is my report, unless there's any other questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. And how about, we'll start, instead of starting with Rhonda, this is all based on where you sit on my screen, but CJ, you're first now, if you have any member comments. I appreciate that you were visiting the parks and telling us also what's going on. I don't know if you had a chance to do any more of that this month.
No, I haven't been down to Holly Park, but thanks for Justin for letting us know they got the soccer nets redone and painted. I appreciate that. I didn't realize, obviously, now that they're going to start using them, but that's good for the kids. So it looks good. And had a chance to go out to Indian Springs the other day, but it was, just a nice day. So I enjoyed that park. But other than that, I just appreciate you guys allowing us the opportunity to continue to get the work done for the township, even online. And, just look forward to moving forward with the plan and looking at the presentations on the 26th.
Yeah. Andrew, you're next on my computer screen.
Thank you. No, I was just gonna kind of segue on CJ's comments. I passed Boomer Park frequently, and that's absolutely had tons of use in this odd time that we're experiencing, along with Holly. No, yeah, no, the one behind the town hall. I'm drawing a blank. Better Park is used quite frequently too. The walking path is what I've seen being used a lot. I have friends that meet there 3 days a week just to walk.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the one weird thing in this odd time that we're experiencing is the parks are being used.
Yeah,
So
that's you
yeah.
have to know where Bloomer Park is, you know, because
it's in my drive path, so I do
Yeah.
it frequently. So anyhow, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
great. And will you continue to represent the board on our committee if elected in November?
I'm not sure what because the supervisor is already done. I'm not sure what his plans are. I had this feeling he'll leave me here, but it's hard to say.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you. I know you have already.
Yep, you do.
Thanks for having, and you and CJ reading all those proposals in detail. That was a good synopsis. Any other comments tonight? Kathleen?
Nope, I'm good.
Deb? Oh, you're muted. Deb, you're muted, so you have to start over.
Okay, no, just look forward to the next meeting for, to review all the
Everybody sleep in that day. So,
4 proposals available for both meetings.
and then Rhonda, how about you?
Planning Commission. I think we've had a meeting since our last Parks meeting, and that was doing the final site plan approval for New Hope Assisted Living and Memory Care. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful facility. And I think what makes me the happiest is that there's overwhelming support from the residents that surround it. In my time with the Planning Commission, I don't see that a whole lot. It's generally people that are opposed to the developments that are going in. So it's nice to see that. Justin, I want to tell you that you are a rather impressive young man. I appreciate how you have jumped right in and taken over this job. I don't know how you do behind the scenes at the office, but these meetings and having these opportunities to spend this time with you have been good. And I'm glad you're here and just excited about the way all of this is going. So.
Thanks, Rhonda. I really appreciate it. And whenever it is, if it's a month or 2 months, I look forward to, being in person with you all and getting to know you more. I know it's hard to, these Zoom interactions aren't the best for getting to know people, but I've had a great experience so far. I'm excited to be here, especially with this Stanley Park and Civic Center development, to be here at the very beginning, on the ground floor and, to be able to see that through. That's exciting to me. So I'm happy to be here to work on that project and to be involved with you guys along the way. So I think it's going to be a great experience. And like I said, with this Stanley Park, no matter what direction we go in with any of these 4 firms, we're going to be in good hands.
I also wanted to thank Kathleen as well for taking copious notes. I forgot to mention that, as that helped on our decision as well. So.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I apologize that you only had 48 hours. We had to advertise it for 4 weeks. And like I said, if we want to get this in front of the township board for their September 15th meeting, we're under a little bit of a time crunch, but I think we're going to do all right.
Exciting times.
Yep.
Okay, well, then I guess we already have our other meeting on the 26th. And what was the other date, Justin? September
1st. And we'll do that one at our normal time at 7 o'clock. So, but remember that one will be a Tuesday, so it'll be a little different than your Wednesday.
A bit different.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I guess I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Support.
Aye.
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 Good night. Thank you.
Good night,
Good night, everybody.
Be safe, be healthy.
You too.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Andrea.
Thanks again, CJ. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye.